What budget lessons have I learned since retiring? Hey folks, my name is Joe, if we have not met. I'm 6 years into retirement. I retired when I was 54. I'm currently 60. And I get asked this all the time as people are crafting their retirement plan. Hey Joe, what surprised you? What did you get wrong? What did you learn? What emotions have you gone through on your budget? You're on the other side of this hill. Help me out. So I get this all the time. So I got a list of 8 things. I've been working on this list for a week or so. And if you can't tell, if you're a normal viewer of this channel, I'm not at home. I'm down in Florida. Brought my daughter and her husband down along with my granddaughter to see the sights in Orlando. So it's actually the Christmas gift we gave each one of our kids, an all expense paid trip somewhere. Reasonably trip somewhere. So we flew down here, and nice to as a gift to give the gift of time together. So let's get into the 8 lessons I've learned 6 years into retirement. What would I tell you? What would I tell a neighbor? Number 1, what was my biggest miss? My biggest miss was health insurance. And not to scare you, but this was a positive miss. I expected to be spending around, I did not a good job of estimating what my health insurance was going to be. I thought it was going to be close to $2,000 a month. And I found Indiana Farm Bureau, and it was $900 a month. That's currently worked its way up to $1,000 now, 6 years in. That's not horrible inflation, but that's for the 2 of us combined, the $1,000. I love it. It's a high deductible plan. Can get an HSA plan. It's very typical to what I had at work, and it's in the United Healthcare network. So very pleased with my health insurance that I have. Also, that $1,000 includes vision and dental. So I'm delighted. I'm delighted with my health insurance, but that was a miss for me. So do your homework on what your insurance options are. A lot of people use $2,000. I fell into that trap. There's other options out there. I've got other videos on that. If you go into the show more, down here I got my top 12 or so most popular videos, and I got a whole video on selecting my medical insurance. Number 2 was a big surprise, biggest surprise. The second car in our family, my wife has a car and I have a car. My car is a 2012 Toyota Sienna. She's got a 2022 Honda Odyssey minivan. But the miles on my second car and insurance, I was driving about 15,000 miles a year on my second car. And in retirement, I'm driving 2. That's 13,000 less miles a year using the government rate for mileage on wear and tear and windshield wipers and tires and gasoline and oil changes and all that. They use 66.5 cents a mile. That's $8,645. I realize that. That's a big savings. So make sure when you're doing your budget and you're tracking your normal gas and your oil changes and all that on both cars, when you're not going to work, you don't drive that second car very much. I just drive it a little bit around town. Most of the time, my wife and I are going places together. Also, I have State Farm auto insurance, and I got one of those little safe driver little modules, and I got it in my car, and they keep lowering my insurance rate because of the lack of miles that I'm driving. They ask me about once a quarter, how much are you driving this car? What can you give us the current miles on it, because it's not tracking anything. And extremely, I'd say my insurance has been cut in half because of that tracker that I bought. So I think they guarantee a minimum of 5% reduction, and I reduced about 50%. My wife stayed about the same because we drive her car a lot. So that was the biggest surprise. The second car, insurance And don't hesitate, get one of those little trackers. I know Big Brother's watching, but it has a major impact on the insurance amount. At least we're in the $9,000 a year range for that. Could make the difference to retiring a year earlier when you see that. Number 3, the biggest negative miss, inflation. Now remember, I retired in 2019, very beginning of the year. Nobody ever talked about inflation. It was the little termites eating away at your savings, 2.5%, maybe 3% on a bad year. But for a long time, wasn't really tracking inflation. Now it's a big deal. You need to be aware of it. And you need to vary it and stress test your retirement plan with higher inflation rates. Put in 4%, 4.5%, 5%. See what that does to your Monte Carlo and to your savings when you have that kind of inflation. Because inflation never goes back. If you have 5% inflation and everything goes up 5%, and I'd like to find something that's only going up 5%, but the following year, if inflation only goes up 3%, it's on top of that 5%. It's cumulative, okay? Very important. But I didn't even think about inflation when I was doing my retirement planning. But remember, I wasn't using BOLDIN software, the new retirement software, new name BOLDIN at the time, and they prompt you for this. I didn't have that software package for about a year after I retired. Number 4, these are my honorable mention surprises in retirement, and I just listed a couple. Cutting the cable. That was $100 a month savings. Cutting the cable, and we became streamers. I got a little antenna to get local. I got a system called Tableau, Tablo, that allows me to get a guide to see the channels in the next 24 hours, what's being broadcast, and then I could save onto an external hard drive. So we can record live TV, no problem at all. And also we do a lot of streaming, at least $100 a month. So that's $1,200 a year savings. And then also cutting off the kids. My kids love this one. I was paying for all their phones. We were paying for all their streaming. They were, tapping into our accounts. And I was paying one of their insurance. My daughter, until she turned like 25, she was on my insurance. That was just something we did to get our kids started. But I said, hey, I'm retired now, you're off. So all those added up. One recommendation here is to get Venmo, Venmo. It allows you to automatically transfer funds between friends and family. So like if I do something that we share in a wedding gift, and they owe us $100. They just go in and put in $100 and transfer it, and it goes bank account to bank account, no transaction fees. It's great for exchanging money. If you buy something for one of your kids, you can send them a Venmo request for $50 to pay you back, instead of, hey, pay me back sometime, and it never happens. Venmo, love it, Venmo. So number 5, lessons learned. Hey, my budget. Don't get a divorce early in your retirement. The budget varies widely month to month. So if I take a big trip to Alaska in 1 month, and then the next month I don't, and then the next month I don't take a big trip, you can see these wild swings. So don't get emotional and have arguments about blowing the budget, bringing the budget, let's spend more money. Don't have all that drama. What I do is I do a budget once a quarter, okay? Once a quarter, and I do extract major vacations because I have a go-go budget for that that's separate out from our normal expenses. So expenses can change month to month. Don't get excited about it. Have a process to handle that. Just a lesson learned from Joe, okay? Number 6. I have more time to find better deals and to do some work myself and for my budget. So I made a video not long ago about replacing a dishwasher. That saved me $350. Changing out the dishwasher myself, took me, there's no way I had 4 hours into it. That's counting going and getting a dishwasher. I also had a water leak on my second level of my house. We have a separate air conditioner. The condenser line, which whenever you run your air conditioner, it condenses water, and that usually goes down a drain. Well, after 17 years, that drain kind of got clogged up with spider webs and dust, and it backflowed and damaged my ceiling in my master bedroom. Well, when I was working, I would have paid somebody to come in and do that, a ridiculous amount of money, like $1,500. But instead, I do it myself, and it's probably, I won't have $50 into it. So that kind of work. My sprinkler system, I open it and close it myself. I replace any heads. I'm probably saving $200, at least $200 a year doing that myself. And my clothes washer actually, it got an error code and there was something wrong with a card. I went and bought a new card and put it in there. The card was like $100, and I would have paid $400 just to have somebody come out and look at it, plus the card. So that would have been a $500 expense easy, and I did it. Probably was a total of an hour's work, 30 minutes to figure out what was going on, and replacing the card probably took me 30 minutes. I did have to go to the store. Let's say 2 hours. Did have to go to buy an appliance warehouse, get the card to go in there. But that stuff's pretty easy to do, actually. It can be intimidating to change out a control card, but it's just popping. It's like plugging in a TV. It's not that hard. The seventh lesson that I learned was make sure, I didn't do this, but make sure you put in go-go spending and slow-go spending inside of your expenses. So I have a base expense, just living expenses. Let's say that's $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month. Pick a number. That's not the right number. Just pick one. $5,000, and then I may have go-go spending. I'm going to use easy math for me. Say I have $24,000 a year of travel and fun and things I want to do. It's $2,000 a month. So my go-go spending is $2,000 a month. My base budget's $5,000 a month. But my go-go only lasts between, right now, 60 and age 75. And then at 75, I put in slow-go spending from 75 to 80, okay? And that's $1,000 a month. Cut it in half. And then at 80, I just go back to base spending. So base spending is adjusted for inflation automatically in your program, hopefully. You use BOLDIN, yes, it's automatically put in there. And then you could put in these bands of spending for like go-go and slow-go. What I see a lot is people just putting they'll take their base of 5 and they'll just add in $2,000 a month, making it 7, and they'll do that through the mortality of like 95. Well, it has a dramatic impact on your savings and your Monte Carlo percent successful to use these bands that closer reflect reality. So that was a big lesson, and I encourage you to do that. You may retire a year earlier because you do that. Number 8, and this one was a big deal. I wanted to put this in there, is it's hard to move from saver to spender. Your math, you may be able to, do your calculations. You say, I can spend $7,000 a month. Well, your first month, you're probably not going to spend that. Your second month, you're probably not going to spend that because you're now moving, like I said, from saver to and building your pile of money to starting to consume that. And that's hard because we've all trained and learned, live below your means, save your money, let it invest, let it grow. But you're doing that for the day you retire, but the day you retire, you can't just flip that light switch and just start going and being a spender. It is very hard to do. I'm 6 years in. I'm gonna make a video in a minute on that, on trying to break out of my frugality. I'm not cheap by any means, but I'm not spending what I can. And most people I hear go through this. Most people I talk to say, yeah, this is hard. I do have a video on what I specifically do to combat this. I'm gonna link that, assuming I can find it. So there you go. There's my 8 lessons I've learned in my budget over the last 6 years. Hopefully this helps. Leave a comment if you've got something that you learned on your budget after you retired. Also leave a comment if you're concerned about something in your budget in retirement. I read all the comments. A lot of them turn into videos. Okay? Let's Joe out.